Hi everybody, welcome to GTCoding. In this tutorial series, we are creating this website using React.js and Sanity.io. Now in this video, we will set up our project. So let's get started. Now the first thing you can do is export all these assets from Figma. So I will leave the link of the Figma file in the description, so you can just download it and open it in your Figma application. And here we can see that this is the design of our website. And we need to export all these images and icons from this design. Now let me quickly show you how to export the images. So you can just go ahead and select the image. So here we can see we have selected this rectangle, which is the image. And you can go over here to this panel and scroll down. And here you can see the option called export. So you can just click on this plus icon. And here you can preview the image. So this is how the image looks. Now you can go ahead and click on this export button and just name the image whatever you want. Now in the same way, you can go ahead and export all the other images. So you need to export this hero image. And then for all these images, I have these images set up over here. So you can just export all of these images. And then you need to export these elements over here. So you can just double click over here. And for exporting these, you can just export them as SVG because these are basically icons. So you can just go ahead and select SVG as the export type and click on export. And in the same way, you also have to export these icons over here. So you can just double click, and you can also export these as SVGs and also export this icon. And then we have these images for the blog post. So you can also export these. Now before exporting these, you can just make sure that these rounded corners are not in the exported images. So you can just double click on this image. So right now the image is selected, and you can just go ahead over here to the border radius and just select 0 and press enter, and then just go ahead and export the image. And once you export the image, you can just set it back to the initial value, which is 10. So in this way, you can go ahead and export all these 3 images for the blog post, and then you can export these images. Do the same for these images as well. And then down here we have these icons. So you can also export these icons as SVGs. And then on the right side we have this icon for the smartphone. So also export this icon as SVG and also this close icon as SVG. So once you have exported all of these images, you can just go ahead and start with creating our project. Now we're going to use React.js to build our website, and this is the official website of React.js. And if you scroll down here, we can see that we have the features of React.js displayed over here. And if you click on Get Started, here we have the guide on how to install React. But we're going to install React using this tool called Vite. So you can just go to vitejs.dev and you can just click on Get Started, or you can also click on Guide. So here we can see this is the Getting Started guide. So if you scroll down, here we have the code of creating a Vite app. So let's copy this code from here. I'll just click on this button. And now let's open Visual Studio Code. So this is the code editor that we'll be using for our project. And here I have already created a folder called Responsive Website. Now the first thing you have to do is open the terminal. So you can just go over here to View and just click on Terminal. And here we have the terminal. So you can just paste the command over here. npm create vite at latest, and let's press enter. Now here we have to provide the project name. So I'll just name it front end, and you can name this anything you want, but we're going to create 2 folders, one for the front end and one for the back end. So I'll just name this project front end, and let's press enter. And then here we have the option of selecting the framework. So I'll just select React and press enter. And then we have the option of selecting the variant. So I'll just select JavaScript. And now we have this folder called front end displayed over here. So now we have to cd into the front end folder. So let's tap cd front end. And once you are in the front end folder, you have to type npm install. So let's tap npm install. And now if you open this front end folder, we have this project displayed over here, and we have this package.json file. And if I open that, here we have this script. So we can just type npm run dev to start our website. So let's type npm run dev. Now you can simply open this link. So you can just press Ctrl or Command and click on this link. And you should see a page something like this. And here we also have this count variable. So we can see that it is working all right. Now let's go back to our project and let's see what are these files. Let me just briefly explain to you the important files. So the first one is the package.json file, and in that you will have all these details about the project and also the scripts and also the dependencies. So here we have React and React DOM installed right now. And then we have this file called index.html, and if you open that, this is a basic HTML file. And here we have this division with an ID of root. So all the application data will go inside this division. And then we have this folder called node modules, and in that we have all the necessary dependencies. And then we have this folder called public, and that we have this svg file. And then lastly we have this src folder, and in that we have these different files. The first file that we're going to look at is main.jsx. And here we can see we have React being imported and also React DOM is imported. And then we also have this app.jsx file imported, which is this file right here. And we also have this index.css file imported, which is this file right here. We have some basic CSS. And then we are just rendering this application inside the division with an ID of root, which we had over here inside this index.html file. So we are just rendering the application inside this root division. So this is the main.jsx file, and then we have this app.jsx file, and this is the actual application that you see over here in our browser. So if you go back here, we can see we have this h1 which is displayed over here. So this is where we're going to write the code of our application. And then here we have this app.css file where we have some CSS for this app.jsx file, and then we have this assets folder where we have this logo. So this is how this React app is structured. Now let's go ahead and set up everything. So let's remove this logo from here. So I'll just delete this file from here. And then I'll just remove all this CSS from the app.css file. And let's go ahead and remove all this code from the app.jsx file. And I have this extension installed called ES7 plus React Redux React Native Snippets. So you can just go ahead and search for this extension and install it. Once you install that, you can just type RAFCE and press tab, and you'll have this basic React code. Now here we can go ahead and type anything you want. So I'll just type hello. And now if you save this, and if I go back to our web page, here we can see it says hello. And let's go back and let's also remove all the CSS from the index.css file. So let's remove all the CSS from here. Now if you go back, here we have no CSS and just the text over here. Right now let's go ahead and make some basic changes. So let's go to the index.html file. And first of all, let's change the title. Now this is the title that you see over here in the browser. So let's change this to welcome. And now we can see that the title has changed. And let's also add the link of the fonts that we're going to use in our design. So if you go back to the Figma file, and if you open any of this text, let's see which is the fonts being used. So let's open this text. And here we can see we have this font called Inter, and it is an extra bold version. And if you scroll down, here we have another font called Allegria, and it is also a bold version. And then we have the Allegria font in regular version. And now if you open this font, here we can see that Inter black version is displayed over here. So we're going to get the link of all these fonts from Google Fonts. Right here I'm in fonts.google.com, and let's search for the fonts. I'll just type Allegria and let's select this font. And we need to have the regular version, which is 400. And let's scroll down. And let's also get this bold version right here. And then we need to have the font called Inter. So let's search for Inter. And here we have this Inter font. So let's open this. And for the Inter font, we will have this semi-bold 600 and extra bold 800. So here we can see on the right side, we have the fonts selected: Inter, semi-bold, extra bold, and Allegria, regular, and bold. Now if you scroll down here, we have the links that we can add. So if you want to add it inside CSS, you can just select this and copy this link. I'll just add it inside the HTML. So I'll just copy this link from here. And let's go back to our project, and here in the head section of our HTML file, I'll just add the link of the fonts. And let's go back to our web page, and everything looks alright. So with that, we have set up our project. Now in the next video, we'll create the components needed for our design. So for this header section, we will have a component called header, and for this section, we will have a different component. So we'll create different components for each of these sections in our design. So we will do that in the next video. So if you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.